All right, week 4 is in the books, but it's left some casualties. Colts QB Anthony Richardson is day-to-day. He could play against the Jags after being knocked out of Indy's win over the Steelers with a hip injury. Brian Callahan says a healthy Will Levis is the Titans' starting quarterback after their upcoming bye week. This after Mason Rudolph led Tennessee to its first win of the season after Levis left the game with a shoulder injury. Still awaiting official word on the severity of Rashee Rice's knee injury, but it's not looking great for the Chiefs wideout. He's already been ruled out for KC's Week 5 matchup against the Saints. Green Bay will be without Christian Watson for at least a week with an ankle, and Jonathan Taylor has a sprained ankle, but it doesn't appear to be a long-term thing. Well, the earlier you can recognize a waiver wire solution, the better, and who knows, maybe you're going to find the guy who wins you the week. No pressure here for CBS Sports senior fantasy writer Heath Cummings. Heath, if your team needed a quarterback this week, who's out there, probably available, who's worth picking up?
Well, this guy we did not think would ever be out there on the waiver wire, but the way the offense has gone for the Cleveland Browns, Deshaun Watson now rostered in less than 60% of CBS Sports leagues. He's probably going to be dropped by some people. It's been an absolutely miserable start to the season, but you know what can fix your offensive woes? Playing against the Washington Commanders. I know they just held Kyler Murray to 15 fantasy points. They're still giving up the second most fantasy points to the position, and this isn't something new this year. This is something that went on all through last year as well. This offense still running through Watson. 37 pass attempts, 5 rush attempts per game for him. If things go right, if the offensive line can be just a little bit better, Watson has huge upside, the type of upside you don't normally find on the waiver wire.
All right, look, Anthony Richardson is not a guy you would expect to find on a waiver wire, but he is day-to-day with the oblique and abdominal strains. And while it was kind of cool to see Joe Flacco still out there, I got to think there's a ripple effect fantasy-wise between having Richardson or Flacco. Who's the more appealing option to you?
Well, Richardson's definitely the more appealing option when it comes to a quarterback you want to start, but it's the exact opposite when you talk about everyone else on the team, and that's because Richardson sucks up opportunities. He handles a lot of those red zone rush attempts. He will take off running when things aren't open instead of just go ahead and getting rid of the ball. When Joe Flacco plays, and we saw this last year with the Browns, we've seen it throughout his career, he's going to throw the ball 35 times a game. It's going to be better for Michael Pittman, better for Josh Downs, and better for Jonathan Taylor if he's able to go, or whoever the running back is, because there will be more total opportunities in this offense if Flacco's the starter.
All right, look, the start of the bye weeks, somebody's going to need a running back. Who's the top running back out there you think to claim?
Well, the Chiefs needed a running back, and so they went out and claimed Kareem Hunt. He sat on the practice squad for a week. He shows up in week 4. Carson Steele fumbles for a second time this season. The Chiefs give Hunt an opportunity, and I will tell you, it was stark, the difference in speed between Hunt and Carson Steele and Samaje Perine. I don't know that he can keep this up all year. He is a little bit long in the tooth for a running back, but Kareem Hunt, clearly the best running back option in week 4. I expect him to see more than 50% of the snaps in week 5. He's somebody, if you're really desperate at running back, if maybe you started off 1-3 and you've got to get a win, you might spend 20, 25, 30% of your fab. The only real risk is that the Chiefs have talked as if Clyde Edwards-Helaire is going to come back at some point and get a shot to contribute. For as long as it's Hunt, Steele, and Perine, I feel pretty confident Hunt will be the best back.
All right, Kareem Hunt there at running back. Who's a wide receiver you're looking at?
It's been shocking in New York. 66% of their targets have gone to either Malik Neighbors or Wale Robinson. You think Robinson, being the number 2 behind a rookie like Neighborson, who has been so good that there's just no way that he can be good also. 27% target share for Wale Robinson as the number 2 option in this offense. Has at least 9 PPR fantasy points in every game. He's been over 11 in 3 out of 4. I like him a lot this week. Most weeks he'd be a number 3 wide receiver, but we've got 4 teams on a bye. We got all these wide receiver injuries. I actually rank Robinson inside my top 25 in full PPR.
All right, you're talking about wide receiver injuries. The Chiefs haven't disclosed just how bad Rashee Rice's injury is. He is out indefinitely, they say. Just 4 games now into Xavier Worthy's career. The rookie out of Texas finds himself atop the depth chart in KC. What's Worthy's fantasy worth right now?
So I think right now he's still best viewed as a boom bust number 3 or flex, simply because even in this game in week 4, he only saw a 14% target share. The volume hasn't really been there. In week 1, when he scored the 2 touchdowns, it was on 3 touches. Andy Reid's offense is notoriously difficult for rookie wide receivers to pick up. It took about halfway through the season, maybe even 2/3 of the season, before Rashee Rice really took off last year. I think the second half upside is a lot more enticing for Xavier Worthy than maybe the week 5 is. The nice thing is for the Chiefs, they get a bye after week 5. It might start as soon as week 7. You view him as a flex this week, but if you want to go try to buy low on Xavier Worthy, I think he could be a top 24 guy in the second half.
All right, we're still talking about receivers here. Jordan Love, sore, otherwise okay after his first action in a few weeks, coming off the knee injury for Green Bay, but he won't have receiver Christian Watson to target against the Rams. Watson out at least this week with an ankle injury. How does that affect Love and the rest of the Packers offense?
I don't really think it affects Love because the Packers had this interesting situation coming into the year where they had like 5 wide receivers that we all thought were pretty good, but there wasn't enough playing time for all of them. We get one of them hurt. That just means, and we saw it last week, more targets available for Dontavian Wicks. He had 13 of them, didn't do a very good job catching him, had 5 of 13 catches, but scored 2 touchdowns. He's going to be one of the top waiver wire priorities at wide receiver, but also Jaden Reed, man, just looks like a star. 277 receiving yards in the 2 games that Jordan Love has started this year. He's a no doubt about it must-start wide receiver. And I don't hate Romeo Doubs as a flex. Don't ignore Tucker Kraft either. We were surprised by him being the number 1 tight end for the Packers. He scored 16 fantasy points last week himself.
All right, you got Lions, Eagles, Titans, and Chargers. They're the ones in the buys this week. If you had one of those defenses and need another, which one are you picking up for week 5?
Well, the plan right now for streaming defenses is who are the Dolphins playing? And the answer this week is the Dolphins are playing the New England Patriots, so we're streaming the New England Patriots. Snoop Huntley is not going to get it done at quarterback. They can't run the ball effectively when they don't have any threat of a passing game. I would expect the Patriots to do very well, both in leagues that reward for keeping your opponents to a certain low score and for leagues that reward for sacks and turnovers. Go ahead, the Patriots.
All right, that is CBS Sports senior fantasy writer Heath Cummings. Heath, thank you so very much. And for more from Heath, you're going to want to check out the Fantasy Football Today podcast. Heath is joined by Jamie Eisenberg and Dave Richard, giving you all the info you need to win your league. Fantasy Football Today. It's available wherever you get your podcasts.